I was at the AVMA, veterinary conference last year, and I was talking. I talked about the spay-neuter thing, and some Danish and Swedish veterinarians came up to talk to me. And I said something about hemangiosarcoma, and I heard a couple of them talking in Scandinavian, whatever the language was.
Yeah.
I said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "I'm trying to remember what hemangiosarcoma is.
Oh, wow.
We've never seen one, but we read about it in vet school."
Wow.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Isn't that
it?
interesting? Yeah. Fun for exercises.
And that'll get the weight off
So-
you.
So warm-ups and cool-downs, there's a couple of, first of all, you want to include stretches, but you don't want to include them immediately. You want to include them at the end. And you also want to make a gradual progression towards the more intense exercises.
Okay.
So if you review the literature, the human literature on warm-ups and cool-downs, it's very, very confusing until you realize that they're all talking about different sports, and that in fact, the warm-up or cool-down should match the sport that the dog is doing. So your warm-up for a senior hunting or a tracking test would be different than your warm-up for agility. Okay?
And
So
for
because what
obedience as
you
well.
and for obedience as well. So what you want to do is you want to recapitulate in your warm-up the kinds of things the dog would be doing in the exercise. So of course, there's no, if you're doing novice obedience, you're not going to be doing jumping. If you are doing open or utility, don't do multiple jumps. Do one, and then pause, and then do one.
Okay.
Okay. But if you're doing agility, multiple jumps are appropriate. But again, so the way that you start is you start by just walking the dog around. And then you have the dog trot a little bit, okay? Just 50 feet up and down a couple times. At that point then, the muscles are getting warm and you want to start some stretches or some other active exercises. Actually, what I do before going to stretches is I'll do the active exercises that recapitulate what the dog's going to be doing. So I would go to the practice jump, or I would do a lot of tugging if for example, it was in... if I was doing obedience, since I know I'm going to be doing heads-up heeling, I'm going to be doing a lot of tugging with the dog, loosen up their neck muscles and stuff. But the stretch that I really, really like for dogs, and actually there's a couple of versions, there's a couple of, give me your food again. Oh, we got a whole new one now. All right. So what we really want to concentrate on is her spine. She's warmed up her muscles. She's warmed up her muscles now. She's ready to start stretching. And so there's 4 directions that the spine can move in. One is extension. That's a play bow. Okay. Presumably you can teach her to do a play bow, or you have taught her to do a play bow. I can show you how to do that. The other is spinal flexion, where she hunches her back. Okay. And then of course there's the sideways flexion of the spine. So the way to teach a dog to do a play bow, it's relatively simple. Come here, sweetie pie.
Okay. Settle down. Settle down. Settle down.
You're silly.
No.
You see?
No.
Stand. Stand. So you take the food and you push it backwards towards their chest.
Ah, what have I done?
If you have to lift their rear up,